Good morning, Washington. It's Dave TV here on DCRTV.com. Happy New Year, everybody. It's the 1st of January, 2012. And a good year is envisioned on us all, hopefully. Check out my December 25th issue of Dave TV, edition of Dave TV, for the top 10 biggest media stories in the Washington, Baltimore area, okay? So if you're on the Dave TV page right now, just scroll down a couple and go to the 25th issue edition and read that and look at that, okay? But anyhow, so here we are. I'm reading my Washington Post. Actually, this is yesterday's post. Style section. You know, this is the style section. 8 pages, 5 articles. 8 pages, 5 articles. 5 articles in a whole 8-page section. That's it. Lots and lots of big pictures. Look at that. All these big pictures. Not bad pictures, but there's just lots of pictures. I'm telling you, they got to do something with this paper, man. This style section's bad. Look at this. This is the style section from Saturday. And look at this. I mean, let's see, how many articles are in this one? 1, 2, 3. 4. Okay, this was Friday's style section, had 5 articles in it. This is Saturday's style section, 6 pages, and it has 4 articles. 4 articles. I mean, 4! And lots of big graphics. This is bad. You know, I was watching the other night, History Channel was running Page 1, I believe it's called, that kind of look at the New York Times and all that stuff, and the media coverage. And, you know, the Washington Post was mentioned almost as a footnote in the thing. You know, as basically, the New York Times is basically the only great newspaper in this country anymore. You know, the Post, there used to always be, everybody would say, you know, the New York Times and the Washington Post. The New York Times and the Washington Post. Now they're just saying the New York Times. That old Post has really taken a hit in the last couple of years. It doesn't look like a great paper anymore. It's not put together like a great paper anymore. They've let too many of the good people go, like Howard Kurtz and Rob Pecoraro and Michael Wilbon and stuff. You know, the paper, and Tony Kornheiser, it's going down the tubes. It just doesn't look great anymore. It looks like a local newspaper, you know. I don't know. It's sad, and I think it's only going to get worse. I really think that a lot of people like me are really, really close. They're just saying it's not worth paying for anymore. It just isn't. You know, I mean, I can get the whole damn thing on the internet. I can go to other websites. You know, when you go to, I started up this fuzzface.com page, which is kind of like my local version of Drudge. What I'm trying to do there is just give you a whole lot of different cool headlines from all these different news sources. And when you look at all the different news sources in the Washington area, you look at, you know, radio and TV stations. You know, there's probably 15 local radio and TV stations that have news departments that are doing news of some sort or another. You look at all the different, you know, websites like DCist and stuff, or patch sites. You look at the sports sites like CSN sites and SB Nation, and you look at, you know, Roll Call and Politico on Capitol Hill. You know, there are probably a couple dozen news sites in the Washington area, radio stations, other newspapers like the Examiner, and local papers like the Fairfax Times. And you say, you know, there's a lot of places people can get news, and not the Washington Post. Washington Post is just one little, you know, maybe they think, and they are probably, I'm sure, one of the most visited local news traffic sites in the Washington area. But when you look at the slew of other news sources in the Washington area, you know, they're just one little blip. And I don't know. I think that's only going to continue. I think, you know, people are going to more and more go to all these other sites. And what FuzzFace, and what I'm trying to do with FuzzFace, is give you a centralized location for your media search. I mean, you know, we all have, you know, bookmarks and stuff on our computers and stuff. But hey, you know, just go to fuzzface.com with 1 Z, and there you got it. It's all right there. All the different major local news sites and the top headlines. Bang, you can check it out. It's updated several times a day. And we're going to be adding some features to that, and really hoping that thing takes off this year. So check it out. All right, what I wanted to do today, being the first of the year, and since I already did the top 10 media stories of the year in my 25th edition, which is down the page, if you're on the DCRDD page, the Dave TV page. I want to make a few. I like to think of myself as a broadcast consultant. Okay, so I'm gonna make some ideas. I'm gonna make some consulting things today. Give some advice to some stations for some things they should really be doing in 2012. Okay, so let's go through a few places. Let's start out with Baltimore. Okay, there's Baltimore. WBAL radio should go all news. Okay, Ron Smith passed away in December. They're basically down to one daytime talk show, C4's talk show there in middays. They now have they're going to be expanding their news blocks in mornings and afternoons. They really ought to just take the station and just flip it to all news, okay? And what WBAL really, really needs to do is get on FM. So how about this? How about making a trade? Hearst Company makes a trade. They go to Peter and Paul or Peter and Mary or Peter and John. Peter and John, that's it. I always think of Peter and Paul Mounds. Peter and John, missionaries there. They own WRBS, Christian Contemporary. They ought to say, hey guys, we're going to give you a big pot of cash and we'll give you the 1090 signal. Okay? 50,000 watt 1090 signal. And then BAL FM could move to 95.1, which is a great signal, reaches into the Washington area even. And then they go take that signal to all news. Okay? Or maybe they could make some kind of a deal and do something. You can't really see that. There's glare there, isn't there? Well, anyhow, or maybe somehow they could keep both, maybe buy 95.1 and keep 1090. Then they could take 95.1 and make it all news and put talk and sports on 1090. I don't know. But they need to do something. BAL desperately needs to get on a decent FM signal. Maybe they could offer buy Shamrock's 100.7 or something. I don't know. But they need to get an FM signal. Okay, so that's my recommendation for BAL for the new year. For CBS DC, okay, they're starting out that all newser there on 99.1. That's great. Okay, glare there, man. You can hardly see my things. Can you see it there? There you go. Okay, so CBS DC. What I'm saying is they ought to take 106.7 and 99 and treat it as one big signal. That's a killer signal, by the way, if you treat that as one signal. Your 99.1 would cover DC and Maryland. 106.7 would cover Virginia. You're getting coverage from Baltimore, part of the Eastern Shore, all the way down to Charlottesville, Fredericksburg, into the Shenandoah Valley, if you treat that as one signal. If you put WNEW on both of those, killer coverage, okay? I mean, you've got a best FM signal in the Washington area by using those two rim-shotty signals, okay? So you put WNEW on both. Now, what you can do with WNEW by doing that is offer zone coverage, okay? You could put DC, you could literally have a slightly different cutaway where you do DC and Maryland news on 99.1 and Virginia news on 106.7 at certain times. Like, you could literally do that in zone coverage. Now, Arbitron probably would then count these as two different stations, not combine them. But what the hell? As long as you tell advertisers, look, you combine the two signals on your own and see the great signals we're getting. And that would give them ratings we're getting. That would give these two stations a huge advantage over WTOP, zoned coverage. TOP doesn't do that. Then you move JFK over to 94.7 and say adios to Fresh. Some disadvantages to doing that because Fresh is CBS you get a lot of female skewers there. But maybe you can move some of that Fresh format over to 95.5. I don't know, something like that. But I think treating these two as one big signal would be very beneficial and give CBS a huge leg up on TOP. All right, folks. What else am I recommending? We got to go quick here. I'm running out of time. WMAL. They need to bolster the news department. They need to go live in afternoons. Maybe get some sports. If they could get some sports on the station now that they're on FM. Try for the Caps or the Nats or something. What the hell? Maybe by splitting the AM and FM signals, they could run more talk on the AM and more sports and news on the FM. I don't know. They could have separate shows. If they want to keep Sean Hannity in afternoon drive, they could keep him on the AM and do an afternoon drive, their own afternoon drive show on the FM. So some ideas there with WMAL. Okay. DC 101. They really should start a really cool progressive rocker on their 101 HD2. What they're doing now sounds kind of canned. Maybe get Cerphe to program it. Okay. I want to keep these under 10 minutes, so I got about half a minute left. Complete makeover. PGC and RQX mix 107.3. PGC maybe an amp or a now format with a little more contemporary hits. RQX, maybe go back to the old Q107 and, but the station needs a whole new makeover there. Okay? I got a lot of these, man. Salem's 105.1. Killer ratings, but killer signal, but no ratings. Dan Snyder, you need to make a trade, man. Trade all your signals. Take 980, 94.3, 92.7, and trade them to Salem for 105.1. I'm telling you, advantages for both. Salem would get three okay signals, and Dan Snyder would get 1 killer signal. And he needs that for WTEM ESPN 980. Okay, here's another one. WAMU should buy 90.1 C-SPAN and put an XPM type station there with cool music. Go to xpn.org and check it out. Philadelphia's WXPN. Really cool public radio music station. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. I got a couple more. Pacifica's 89.3 WPFW. They ought to do something cool with their HD2s and HD3. Maybe full-time jazz, progressive rock, ethnic. Okay, we're down to three. Okay, we're getting there. WTMD 89.7, really cool station from Towson University, adult alternative. They really should get a DC signal. Maybe they could buy several small AMers. Okay, and well, this I've said this many times. Unite 103.1s. Frederick and Annapolis put the same thing on both signals. You know, Frederick's WAFY Key 103.1 is owned by bankrupt Nassau. Maybe they would sell that. And then they could put WRNR FM on both. It would give it fairly decent coverage of the entire Washington Metro. And finally, bring back WTOP. They ought to put a camera in the studio and offer a video feed on the web and to cable TV. Why not? It would give them a, why not? Watch what's going on in our glass enclosed newsroom 24/7. I think, you can do that on the web, video apps, whatever. I think that's the next step for TOP. Okay, folks, we're hitting the 12-minute mark. Thanks for all your support for DCRTV in 2011. Yeah, thanks for all your support. Done some good things. I love all you people. I love, it's been a pleasure and a joy, and we've got some great things planned for 2012. Check out fuzzface1z.com too, and let me know what you think of that. All right, have a wonderful 2012. Thanks to all the supporters, the wonderful people that have sent us the $5 checks and the $50 checks and the $100 checks, and to all our advertisers. Really support them. Those guys really go out of the way to help support DCRTV. And please patronize our advertisers, and thank you. Thank you all for a wonderful 2011, and looking forward to a great 2012. So, there.